My name's Adam Hill, and this time I thought we'd draw a picture of Link. Many nights my kids want me to tell them a story, and it's usually a story about Zelda. And I've told a lot of them, and this time I thought we'd draw a picture of Link sleeping and thinking of any adventures he'd have. So it would be the Link from Wind Waker, and I hope you can draw along too. I use pencils at first to sketch out what I want to draw, and then when I'm confident in what I want, then I use a black marker to darken up the lines. So, if you've played Wind Waker, you know it's more of a cartoon kind of a feel of artwork. So we have Link here. I'll start with his chin. Do a bit of a round head. His ears coming out here. There's the top of his head. Maybe that's a bit too big. Something like that. And he's got a lot of hair, so we'll start with his part. There, and add a little bit of a extra bit of hair. Hair falling down, and we'll have it hit a pillow or something about right here. And right about here, we'll do a little mouth. Tiny nose. Speck of a nose. And his eyes are closed here. And he's always got a bit of a sideburn coming down. Let's fix this. And we need an eyebrow sticking out from under his hair. And a speck of an eyebrow here. And let's see, maybe about right here. His face is falling into the pillow. Do some sort of stitching make it look a bit sewn. Kind of like his clothes. Heavy stitches there. We'll add a little more detail later with the pen. But for now, that's good. And let's see. We'll do his V-neck here. And here's where his arm will be. And a belt somewhere around here. And the bottom half of him is pretty short, so we'll do his bottom of his coat there. And if he's laying down, his buckle would be somewhere around here. Let's see. Maybe more like that. And here would be his hand. Maybe we'll put in a stuffed animal or something. How about a chew jelly? With their crooked eyes. We can clean all these lines up later. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. And let's see, let's do the feet of the chew jelly. I like to get the face right as soon as I can. It helps me get a feel that the rest of the picture is going to turn out pretty good. Gets some life in the picture. And as far as being a sketch, it looks pretty good. Let's darken up some of these lines here. Link's changed a lot in the various games. It's come a long way since the original Nintendo. That game was instantly popular. First game to have a battery installed inside it so you could save your game. You didn't need passcodes or anything. But if you were unlucky, your little sister or somebody would erase your game. That happened to me. I was borrowing it. It was a friend's game. His game was saved. He beat it. He had it saved so he could play the next world, which is, the same kind of thing. They just rearranged the map. This is the first Zelda I'm talking about. And I spent a long time trying to get him back to where his game was, and that's right after I did that, I learned that if you just type in Zelda in the name field, it automatically puts you on the second world. So that would have saved me a lot of time. Okay, so here's his belt buckle, and it has that classic wind swirl from Wind Waker. Let's see. It'll be kind of rolled on half of it. That'll work. That round there. Okay, let's start with his legs. Not much definition to his legs. And just two tapered stubs here. Put on a boot. His feet are absolutely tiny. Maybe an end right about there. One great way to practice drawing and to get better at drawing is to trace. So if you see some pictures you like online or whatever, print them out. Maybe tape it to your back window or some glass, then tape on another piece of paper. On top of the first one, and you'll be able to see through it with a light that's coming from outside, and you can practice tracing, and it helps train you to learn how to draw curves and that's a bit high. I don't like that. So let me get rid of some of that. That's not a wad of gum, by the way. That's a drafting eraser. All right. That's good enough for now. So I figure he's sleeping in the grass or somewhere outside. So I'll draw some blades of grass. Just a bunch of curved angles here, all centering around here. And he's got his arm here holding that. I think I'll draw another arm coming out, so it's not underneath his body. Maybe coming out and around. And sticking under his pillow. A little hand there. And I'll get rid of some of that. Make his pillow a little bit smaller. And let's see, how about he needs a sword here. Make it really short, a little forced perspective. Let's make it exaggerated here. Something like that. And I guess it could be strapped onto a shield. So I'll draw a strap here going over the sword. You can do the handle. It's a little, there we go. And we'll just sketch in some maybe wood planking right there. Okay. And we'll surround him. Maybe with taller grass here. And how about in the back there's some trees. We'll just do some sort of ghosty trees. Almost no form really in the final. Just some hint of a tree. Can have it kind of fade out there. We're not going to focus on the background, but we don't want him to feel like he's in outer space somewhere. So we're just going to suggest and how about one in the foreground? This will help act as a frame. Okay, it's looking good so far. And how about back here? One of those leafy bushes. It's always full of rubies or hearts or something. So we can make that a little bit darker green when we color it in. And foreground grass. When we color it in, we'll just have this be kind of blurry. All right, now he's not going to be sitting out here in the dark, so how about we put in a lantern or something, huh? Let's see. I want it a little closer. Maybe right there. That'll be the handle. And if you sketch light, you can get away with changing your mind a lot. When you're really unsure, sketch super light. And the more confident you get, you can push a little harder. Put a couple of feet sticking out here. Just a little bit of texture to the ground helps weigh them down. Doesn't feel so much like they're just floating. Okay, and let's tie in something behind him. Maybe a rock. real simple, not too much detail. We don't want too much focus on there. And my kids always want a drink every night, so how about we do a potion bottle on the rock with hardly any potion in there. And a big cork. Something like that. Perspective on this is a little tricky. See if we can clean up this shield a bit. That'll be the corner. A little curved. There's the sword. Strap. Handle. Okay. It's looking good. And for fun, let's draw a couple fairies. Middle will just be a glowy ball, and their wings stick straight out, straight line almost, a little bit of a curve, very large wings, come down almost basically like a sword. They come back in. I'll do one heading back here. And then they have another wing. Down here. And we'll show one floating off there. And how about another fairy? Start with a circle. Makes it a little easier. All right, that looks good. We can start penning it in now. And start with the lines you're confident in. Usually on the outside, meaning this is outside of his body. These lines are thicker, and the ones on the inside, like his hair right here, will be thinner. So imagine just an outline. That all the outside lines are a bit thicker. Still a bit of hair hanging out there from the pillow. All right. Real thin there. And thicker. And to speed this up, I'll speed up the footage, and when it gets close to the end, we'll see about coloring it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how this looks now, so what I'll do is scan it and I will make a PDF that you can click on. I'll put a link somewhere in the description or something. So you can print it out and color it or practice drawing with it if you want to. Print out your own. And also, I'll now move it into Photoshop where I'll color it in, and you can see a little bit about how to color pictures on a computer.
Okay, here we are in Photoshop now. As you can see, it's sped up quite considerably. Real time would just take too long to play. So if you've never heard of or used Photoshop before, it's just a graphics program. It's been around forever. It's what most artists use on the computer, and it works with pixels, and it gets more elaborate every time they release it. I'm just using it as a basic tool here for coloring. There are other ways of doing this, but this is the one I just decided to do. As you can see, the image after it was drawn is scanned in and then opened in Photoshop and set as what's called a background layer. It's Photoshop, one of the great things about it is you can draw in layers, so all the color you see being applied is on a separate layer, almost like if you put a piece of glass on top of your original artwork and started just painting on the glass, and then you could put another piece on and another piece on, and you know, edit each one separately. So what you see, all this color is on separate layers. On the right you can see a layers palette, and on top of that a colors palette. So all the shading is just done two-tone. So you have the main color and then a darker color for the shadow. It's really basic. Photoshop's a great tool to use. I would definitely, if you haven't used it, learn it if you're into art at all. So this picture that's almost done being colored is just going to be used as a still image for some stories that I told my kids. When they wanted me to tell them a story at night, I just recorded it. Well, I decided to upload it, and this would be like the CD disc image or song image or whatever it is on iTunes they call it. Just a little picture of Link sleeping and thinking about a story. So you can overlay colors and alter them in a second. You can see that I'm messing around here with trying to make it a cold night picture. Decided not to go with that. Just keep it glowy warm. And that's I'm making the grass darker there with what's called a burn tool. So several different tools you can see on the left. The burn tool will just take whatever color, make it darker. And the fairies, all I did is take, used to be like a spray paint. They used to have different brushes. This one's just the brush tool. With just some white, and it fades out and it looks like a glow. Same thing with the lantern there. Just painting some yellow over it, and then a little bit of white inside the lantern to make it look like a glow. And giving the sky a little bit of texture back there, maybe some clouds or something. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. It was a lot of fun to do.